This video is designed to show you the installation process for the Zen Workgroup 15 engine. We've already downloaded the Workgroup Engine software, so all we need to do is double click on it and wait for it to load. We get this request saying that we want to make changes to the Windows 10 environment. We click OK. We now get the WinZip self-extractor. Run unzip. It's going to unarchive all of the files right into the Actian cache folder. And when it's done, it's going to automatically launch the installer for you. The installer window is going to come in with several different buttons. The first one is to install the Workgroup Engine, which is going to be done on a database server. If you're installing a multi-user system and you're also installing workstations, you would then install the client only to those other workstations. In our case, we're going to follow the Workgroup Engine install process. And we now have the installer starting up in the background. It's going to make sure that Windows is up to date. It's going to then allow us to step through the installation. In most cases, you're just going to go next, next, next all the way through the install. You have to accept the terms of the license agreement, of course. Now you get to this dialog box, which doesn't have a whole lot of background behind it, but there's two questions: run as a service or run as an application. If you're installing on a database server that's going to be hosting several users, or if you're running in an environment where you're going to be running in a terminal server, then you definitely want to run as a service. The only reason you would want to change this to run as an application is if you are running a standalone engine and you want to store the data on a non-Windows machine. So you want to store the data perhaps on a SAN or a NAS, where the data is going to be on a different machine than where the actual engine is running. In that case, you do need to run as an application so that you get proper Windows credentials. Otherwise, in most cases, you're much better off running as a service, as it also avoids the dreaded 7224 error when you do the install of the license. Question of whether you want to do a complete or a custom: there's really no need to go into custom, so just do a next here and an install to start the install process. Through the magic of television, we're going to go ahead and jump ahead to the end of this process now. And with the installation done, we can optionally view the Windows installer log if we want to. You usually don't have to mess with that unless you know that there was a problem. We click Finish. And then in the background, the Actian product registration screen pops up. We're done with the actual installer. We can click Exit on this. The register document is an optional thing that you can do if you want to register on Actian's website. You can certainly do that. Most people just go ahead and close that window, and now you've got the database engine installed. A way to make sure that everything is working is if you go to Start, find your Zen 15, go to the Control Center, start up the Zen 15 Control Center here. You can actually drill down into this individual workstation, databases, demo data, tables, and you can double click on one of these tables and take a look and see that the data is actually being represented here. Demo data is just a sample database that comes with the environment. It's not going to be related to your application and doesn't take up a whole lot of space, so it's a good idea just to leave it there. You can now go ahead and continue with your own application install. It's also a good time, if you're ready, to go ahead and install your license. You go under Tools, License Administrator to bring up the license box, and here you have the ability of pasting in your key and authorizing your license. Sometimes there are problems with the license, so we're going to leave that as a subject for another video. Thank you very much, and I hope this helps.